Channel members very generously go the extra step to help this channel make as much content as possible, and because of that, I'm always happy to give back, which is why I created Channel Members Tuesday, a way for channel members to suggest packs for me to reveal or review, and I do so with priority. And that's why in today's Channel Member Tuesday video, we're checking out the Wolfhound Medieval Textures Texture Pack by GoE-Craft. Coming in at 830 mine tokens, this texture pack takes up 50 megabytes of space. So, is the Wolfhound Medieval Textures Texture Pack truly one for the ages? Let's find out. The GUI for the Wolfhound Medieval Textures Texture Pack is quite frankly non-existent. There is no changes to main menus, home screens, setting screens, loading screens, or the creative inventory or workbenches, which is definitely disappointing, especially at 830 minecoins, and it means I don't really have much to talk about in this section. So I'll take this opportunity to say that this texture pack has been kept updated, which is very good. The last time this texture pack was updated was Thursday the 18th of September 2025, meaning it has all new 1.21.100 updated features, which is very good and is always a good sign of value for money. So hopefully the disappointment of the GUI won't cloud anything in this pack. Before we jump into the passive mob section, let me remind you that you can find the final review score for today's texture pack over in my texture pack review database at dasmanblogs.blogspot.com. You can compare texture pack scores and see how I've rated everything. You can also find the waiting list for future Channel Member Tuesday content on my website at dasmanblogs.blogspot.com. Link in the description below. If you'd like to suggest content for this series, then consider becoming a channel member today and get access to custom emojis, a member badge next to your name, and be able to make a monthly suggestion for what we cover in Channel Member Tuesdays. Hit that join button today. And so we've loaded into a brand new world with the Wolfhound Medieval Textures Texture Pack activated, and the first thing that I'm seeing here is darker colors. We've got darker greens, we've got darker browns on the dirt, darker grays on the stone, really giving that old school medieval vibe from afar. I always call it the Robin Hood effect, where things are dirtier, drearier, sadder in theory because of that medieval vibe, and it's just darker tones, darker colors, not necessarily vibrant, which is something that actually changes in terms of the water here. We've got quite bright blue water, and it looks like it's either a very, very subtle animation or it's a static design on the water. I'm more going for the design of the water being static here. It's a solid blue, it feels a bit brighter than normal. And that might be something that we may have to kind of have a look around with in terms of color, because obviously we've got a birch forest here. We've got a, what's that, like, is that a jungle over there as well with the darker green leaves? But if we was to pop over here into an acacia biome, the grass is a lot greener, a lot yellower, sorry. The leaves keep that darker blue tone, but it does feel brighter in the acacia biome. Still an air of darkness to it, or an air of dirtiness to it, which you do kind of, or at least I do kind of expect in a medieval texture pack. So that's kind of the overall feel of the world that we get. If we come over here, we've got stone, and stone is designed to already look cobbly, which is quite interesting. I'm quite interested to see how cobblestone is going to look if stone already looks so cobbly. We've also got dirt here, which has got pebbles and stuff in it. Looks consistent between the grass block on the side here and a standard dirt block. Consistent colors, consistent designs. No variation, which we shouldn't be expecting because they haven't said that there is. There is a hint of blur on the texture designs. I believe this is a 64 by 64 texture. Let me see if I can just confirm that. Enhanced 64 by 64 textures. Okay, I'm never a fan of blur myself. I do like the pebble in the dirt. I do like the darker dirt colors, and I do like the darker greens on the grass though. Couple reservations when it comes to stone already being cobbly though. That could just be a personal preference. If we come over here, oh, these guys are cool. Hello. So we've got cows. We've got what I call the daisy cows, the white and black. Again, the closer we get, a lot more pixelization. It loses that quality the closer we get. I don't even know if you guys can see that on there. Let me get the right screen up. But if we get over to the face, it doesn't quite transfer through as much on the video recording at least. But it is very pixely depending on the screen, I guess. And if we see, do we have any variations on these guys? Not necessarily. We'll keep the spawn egg. Maybe we'll head over to the acacia biome, see if there's a hot version. We've got a chicken here too. Quite bright colors on the orange, but heavy blur again. Very vanilla-esque. Not exactly looking at many changes here like we've seen on the cow. Okay. We'll grab your spawn egg as well, I think. Is there a pig that we can see? Let's pop over here and just see some flowers as well. See how some of the flowers are looking in here. Just that air of, I don't want to say low quality, but definitely blur, definitely pixelization. We've got a pig here which has, I mean, okay. They've tried to give it some face while keeping the square. Not really my art style. We've got the ears on the side here as well. You can definitely tell that this pack started at least before 3D models were being so readily changed. I mean, this pack was originally released in 2021, so maybe not, but it's a solid pink. You've got the outline. There's an air of dirtiness to it for that medieval theme. Not a big fan of the face, in all honesty, but we'll take the pig as well for the spawn egg. Now, do we have any sheep around, or will I have to spawn in those? Gives us an opportunity to have a look at the rest of the world while we look around, though. There's a sheep down here. So here's the sheep. Solid black feet. That is a scary face right there. Almost like what you see in like a dwellers or something. It's like the ghost within the fog. Not sure I like that at all. Let's see if we can get a few other colors. Here we go. So we've got grey, brown, and white. Let's just shear this guy. And then again, it's not the greatest design. Consistent though. I mean, you've got the white, you've got the brown, you've got the grey here as well. And if we come over here like so, yeah, look, I mean, no facial features on this guy really, other than like, imagine you're like building a house and he looks through a window. That would scare the life out of me. I've got to be honest with you on that. Let's pick that. If we head over to the acacia biome, I always get a bit confused when it comes to variants. Is it different variants depending on the heat? Does an acacia biome count as heat? I don't know. We'll just check it in and see. So spawn a sheep. Not expecting any variations on that. Pigs. Okay, it's more orange than pink. Okay, good to see though that the same for the chicken, actually more orange than white. Good to see that those variations that were added around Easter and spring to life have been rendered here as well. This is good. I like this because this means that the pack is still alive. It means you're getting value for money. Imagine you bought this in 2021 and your pack is still being updated. That 830 mine tokens that you spent is a very, very good investment, in my opinion. Whether you like the designs or not, hopefully you bought it because you like the designs. So it can all just kind of add up to being a good quality thing there. Some things I don't like. The pixelization, the blur. But I like the darkness. I like the kind of dirtier feel to the world that we get. So there is some pluses and minuses here. Let's get down here and have a look at horses, skeleton horses, and zombie horses. So we'll start by spawning in a few different horses. These guys always feel separate from texture packs. There's an air of it, like the graininess to the textures here that bring it back in, but they never feel quite on point. I mean, that guy's got all the pixelization in his head there, so maybe he does. The skeleton horse. I like the outline on the block, which is probably not what I'm supposed to be looking at as much, but it's a very prominent outlining. And then the zombie horse, always a little baby one, always another little baby one. I like the cracks on the skin, but it is more pixelized the more you look at it. So at the moment, I'm leaning towards it being a mixed bag. If we head into spectator mode, game mode spectator, we can have a little look around and see what some of the caves look like down here as well. Hopefully we can find a nice big cave. Give me a second. And so this is how it would look inside a cave. Natural darkness, very dark in fact. If we get the night vision potion on here, just light it up a bit, we can see a little bit more. We've got some of the, what I'm assuming is granite over there. We've got some mossy stone down here too. We're getting some hints at mobs as well. But that's the general feel of how that would look. And if we go and find a lush cave biome, and there's a little hint of a lush cave biome around here. Now I've turned the night vision potion back off so we can get the full effect. We can see how it lights up the cave. We can see some good vinage, some good leaves here. Some good glowberries on there as well. Not well, yeah, there is the pixelization as you get closer. I'm starting to wonder if that's the size of my TV screen more than anything, but there is pixelization there. And then we've got that darkness just popping back in places. And if we head over here, we can see the big flower as well. So yeah, that's how the world generation and the passive mobs all seem to look at the moment. Why don't we go and find a village and see how that looks? Hey, did you know this channel isn't all there is? I also have a second channel called Dazman Reacts, where I react to other Minecraft content, trailers, pack combinations, creator interviews, and even the Minecraft Marketplace weekly update. I also have the Dazman Plays channel, where I play other non-Minecraft games of all age ranges. I have a Dazman Football channel and a Dazman Wrestling channel for those games and topics as well, and I also have a very small TikTok account at Dazman TikTok. And finally, I have my website, the Dazman Blogs website at dazmanblogs.blogspot.com, where I'm building a texture pack database, an actions and stuff compatibility list, written texture pack summaries, a very loose podcast, and even more. So support me in various places by liking, commenting, subscribing, following, and visiting in as many places as possible. And so we're approaching a village now, and immediately I kind of like the color designs that we're getting on here. Like I really like that white house with the brown trim. That feels very medieval in feel. And then we've also got the stony sides of it as well. So let's see how this goes. I'm feeling very slightly above average at the moment. Let's see what we've got going on here. So this is the more cobblestone design, and that feels more bricky than cobblestoney to me, to be honest with you. I almost would have flipped the stone and the cobblestone around if that was me, but maybe other people have other designs. I don't like this. The mossy cobblestone is very obviously a bit brighter than the standard. You can see there's an absolute outline there, which makes it stand out almost like an ore block, which I'm not a fan of. We've then got the path blocks, which again, very pebbly, very cobbly. No, I don't hate it. I like the little path design underneath it as well, which is quite cool. Not hating it. Okay, there's a villager here. How you doing? You know what? We're not going to take our anger out on you. Let's head over here. And let's see what we get when we get a few of these guys together. Now, the one thing that immediately jumps out at me, somewhere in the description... Oh, you guys are gone, are you? All right, cheers. Thanks for that, guys. Thank you. No, that's absolutely fine. We wasn't doing a review or anything. Somewhere in the description, it does mention that this has been, like, finely tuned and regularly updated to make it perfect. And yet there's no diversity. It seems like a very crazy oversight to me. I'll never be sorry for wanting diversity in my pack. These faces, they're... What's the best way to put it? So they're not quite as bad as those hyper-realism, ultra-realism skin wraps. But they're also not quite as good as a standard vanilla villager either. They're a little bit too uncanny. I never like the hands either in these types of things. Very consistent, but they've all got the same face. It's almost like we've entered a clone world. Which I could probably go without, to be fair. Although, wait, maybe you're slightly different. I don't know. Hang on. No, that is definitely the same face. Okay, so yeah, not quite as bad as that hyper-realistic, these are real people style faces, but not quite as easy to look at as everything else. Do we have an iron golem around? Am I going to be blessed with an iron golem? There he is. Hello, buddy. How you doing? Okay, I mean, he's bouncing. Could you stop bouncing? Thank you. I like the vinage on him. I like how metallic he looks as well. Very pixely in the face though. It's almost horror-esque in the face with how pixely and green-eyed he is. So again, still slightly mixed bag, still slightly just above average for me at the moment. Why don't we set it to nighttime and let's see what hostile mobs look like. And so nighttime is upon us now. We've got quite a soft moon off in the distance there, actually. And in terms of the world, it still feels dark and dreary, which isn't a negative. It's definitely on point for what we're dealing with here, in my opinion. We're going to light it up with the night vision potion. Just remember as well, this is your arachnophobia warning. There will be spiders, so let's see how they look along with everything else. Let's get down here and have a look. So immediately we've got a creeper. Okay. Little camouflage creeper. He's got some flowers on him. Not bad. A little bit of a horror-esque face. I will say, this pack does lean on the side of vanilla a bit, but they have, like, made changes to textures to make them their own. Like, there's no major change here to a creeper compared to a standard one, but it's a bit darker. It's got the flowers on there, making it their own, which I think is cool. If we pop over here as well, we've got, is this a zombie or a zombie villager? This is a zombie. Okay. Quite pale in design. No variations either, but always worth checking. Quite simple outfit. It's got some weird shading going on the back, but he's got that kind of horror-filled eyes, which works. I think that's all right. I'm not saying that this pack is amazing by any means. It's very rough around the edges, but nothing's particularly jumping out as being terrible at the moment. The skeleton, very square-headed. Very pixely, though. I am still marking it down for pixely. Pixely is a little bit too crazy. There's, like, not nice to look at. I also don't think that's quite the same skeleton color as the skeleton horse. I feel like there's a bit more yellow in the skeleton horse, but I could be wrong. And then if we go around, do we have the dreaded spider around? Doesn't look like we've got one at the moment. Just give it a chance to look at a few extra textures as we go around. There he is. Okay, so it's actually a pale spider. Interesting. I like that choice. That's a very good creative choice. Still heavily pixelized on the face. Not so much everywhere else, though. Maybe slightly on the back, but the face very heavily pixelized, sorry. I like the color change, though. I think the color change is cool. So again, some good decisions, like design elements. A few poorly executed designs with the pixelization, but I'm definitely not thinking below a 5 at this point, and I'm definitely not thinking above a 7, but somewhere in between is not too bad. Let's head out to the ocean and let's see what's going on in an ocean monument. And now we're above an ocean monument, above an ocean at night with no night vision potion on because I wanted to give the overall effect here. Some good darkness around the water is cool. I'm going to drink the night vision potion and we're going to get underwater here. In fact, no, we're not. Let's drink a milk bucket real quick. Let's see what it's like to actually be underwater. We'll let the water textures catch up with us slightly. Not bad. Not bad visibility at all. Quite easy to see what's going on. Now we'll drink the night vision just to get it a bit easier to see what's going on. I like the dark prismarine. Again, it's quite easy for me to like the dark, not dark prismarine, sorry, prismarine bricks. It's very easy for me to like prismarine brick designs. Just don't use that standard Y design, and I'm fairly certain I'm going to like it. We've also got prismarine here, which feels very stony, which again is weird because I've seen correlation of prismarine and cobblestone, and yet this leans towards the more stony design being used in this pack. I like the way the green of the line art in between as well is looking really nice, and that seems to be glowing, like it's pulsing in color. It's gone from green now to more dull and blue. Very nice. That was executed really well. If we pop around here, we can glance at the dark prismarine, very basic. And then we've got the sea lantern. I see what they've kind of gone for here. It's not as epic as it could be, but it works. Oh, look, there's even purple in this design. So this is going all the way through the color chart. Fair enough. Oh, I was going to say I'm not sure if I like it, but actually in practice I do. That was nice. That was actually genuinely nice. Let's pop this open and have a look at an Elder Guardian while we're here. Excuse me, please. Hello, 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 hello. Come on. Open up. Ugh. Okay. It's a little bit too close to an actual eye. It's very uncanny. It's very off-putting, but not in a bad way, just in an uncomfortable way, I think is the nicest way to put that for me. We'll pop that out of the back of his head. It's also probably not helping that he's got that kind of pale, fleshy design as well. And down here, we've got the drowned. Okay, 3D element. Oh, I like that. It always strikes me as so weird that the drowned essentially had height maps long before height maps existed in Minecraft. It's crazy. Or at least before they were widespread. Again, basic outfit, but very nice design elements on that. I'm here for it. And then the standard Guardians, more plainer, more vanilla-esque in design. But weirdly, minimal pixelization there. Interesting. This has been by far my favorite part, although... Okay, so... That's obviously not rendering correctly, so that's somewhat broken. Fair enough. Not a good design at all. How do you get so many updates and have that problem? Surely that's quite easily fixed. I don't like that at all. That's really bad. That's ruined the section a bit for me there, actually. Let's go underground and let's see a trial chamber. And here we are in the trial chamber then. And the first things that's jumping out at me is actually the copper block. It feels quite shiny. I almost like the brush strokes that you get on here. If anybody's ever handled copper, like I've handled copper frying pans, for instance, and just slightly touching them really does add like a fingerprint effect to it. It's very difficult to kind of buff that out afterwards. You need to clean it very, very, like, particularly to make it work. And that's immediately the feeling that I've got here on this copper design, which I can appreciate that actually. And I like how bright the colors are here as well. And it's contrasted very well, not only by the tuff, which is awesome to see it updated. I like these little detailings on the bricks here as well, which is really good. But also by something like this. So the dispenser on here as well. Feeling very gothic in nature. Really helps for that medieval feel. And then again here as well for the copper bulb. So we've got a weathered one here. We've got a standard one there as well. Still a bit too much blur. Still a bit too much pixelization. Pixely focus blur, whatever you want to call it. I call it pixelization because I like weird words. But I like what they've attempted to go for here. And if we plonk down a breeze, again, leaning on those more vanilla fills here. Not really made it their own too much. Maybe a bit more of an angry facial expression than usual. But I'm still, you know what, I'm still here. This is still slightly above average. I think I'm like leaning towards a 6 at the moment. Obviously, there are broken elements and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm a lot more impressed with this than I thought I was going to be looking at the pictures on the product page. So why don't we head over to the Armoury now and let's see what everything looks like. And it's really weird, right? It's such a refreshing change of pace even, to come into the Armoury and not have to worry about the angle of the sun or shine and glare. This is quite a refreshing feel to that. I will always like vibrant visuals. I will always think vibrant visuals does so much to the world. But not having to worry about where the sun is placed and if I'm catching all of the right shine, the textures are exactly what you see no matter what, is quite... It's quite refreshing, in fact. Looking at what we've got here, though, there's some really good medieval designs. We've got what looks to be like an alchemist shelf or something going on there. We've got some really good emblems. We've got some paperwork down here. There's some good design elements on here. I like the double chest there as well. I like a lot of what we're looking at here for what it's kind of capturing. I like these motifs that are on the side of the blocks on there as well for... That's going to be a netherite, block of netherite. That's going to be a block of gold as well. Awesome. Okay. There's a very bright red, almost dragon scale feel to the netherrack there. Whereas the deep slate is quite a plain deep slate. Very nice to see that the ores line up perfectly, though. I did worry about that after seeing the mossy cobblestone. This one is cool. This redstone ore, which is like lit up. Very nice. They're really good ores, actually. I'm really shocked at how much I like this so far, to be honest with you. As we pop onto here as well, I might need to get my copper block fixed. Although I've got one there. We don't need that there anymore. Pop that out. How'd I miss? Thank you very much. We've got all of the copper designs on here as well. Oh, look at that one. What's that? So that's chiseled copper, and it's all got that same design. Look, oh, I like the way that transitions, you know. From this pure orange up to this pure green. I like the way that transitions. Almost looks like Lugia from Pokemon. But okay. And then there's some very good weathered effects on here too. These guys haven't been updated. So the Copper Age actually hasn't been updated. These have defaulted back, which does break a bit of the immersion. But I actually do trust that they'll update this. I do trust that there'll be an update soon. Hopefully there will be. We've got the glass on here as well. Consistent design, very bright colors. And again, another broken scaling, I guess, for the bundles, which is a shame. On there, it's fair enough in terms of the design, but get them the right size. How hard is that to do? That's such a weird oversight. Maybe it's a limitation. I don't know. And then we've got the different colored stuff on here too. The brown even has a bit of orange to it. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I like that purple one though with the little gold trim. That's nice. That is nice. The iron door. So iron actually black in this. Interesting. And then the weathered designs. I feel like they've done a bit too much on the doors, but that's just my initial opinion. I don't like these leaves. These leaves do not look good in my opinion. And those are really bright, which fine for a for an azalea. But then you get into the really darker designs. But we do get other colors, so we'll see what's going on here. This is the oak wood. The stripped one looks quite nice. Into the spruce. And it seems very consistent in the plank designs. Very, very simple. The trapdoors looking quite awesome. The doors also looking quite awesome. That looks like something that you'd see out of like Rivendell from Lord of the Rings. With the tree. That's quite nice. Keep going across here for the jungle. We can also see the leaves on here as well. I've not been paying much attention to that. It's really difficult to get up close while also showing all of that stuff. So I do apologize if I miss anything. Across here is acacia. I would say that if this was what acacia looked like in original Minecraft, it would not be my favorite tree. The dark oak on here too with the vines. The vines looking cool. Mangrove on there. Interesting. Almost like full of despair right there. That is the tree of depression, in my opinion. Cherry blossom. Again, I'm not a fan of the leaves. Cherry blossom, cherry grove, whatever we're calling it. Not a fan of the leaves, but I like the litter. These little cherry pink petals down here. And I like the boat. Nice little hints of white on there as well. Okay. Into the pale oak. The signs look awesome, by the way. Okay. A lot to like here. Some to definitely dislike. And some to kind of put you on the fence. But there is a lot to like. That's really nice bamboo blocks there as well. And then we've got here the crimson with the eyes. Can't wait to see that in the Nether. Same for the warped, which also seems to have more of a peacock design, which I think is also supposed to be eyes. And then a little pulsing kind of scratch effect on there. Interesting. Okay. Popping up a bit closer here for the concrete powder and concrete. A little bit of shading on the concrete to give it that kind of texturing. Not bad. Okay. Concrete powder feels just like a sand block. Then we've got the terracotta and glazed terracotta. Quite plain, really. Not really a ton going on. Not really sure why plain terracotta, like grey terracotta and black terracotta, has a design. I feel like you're supposed to leave those for the glazed. Or do it on everything. Which, as we get a little bit further along, they have, but they really haven't. There's a lot there that just don't have it. Just confirm that is, yeah? Yellow terracotta, yeah. Weird choice there. We've then got the honey block. Don't like the honey. I don't like this one. This is not good. The honeycomb I can live with, but I don't like that. That feels very cheap, for the best way to put that. Ice. Oh, we got bone as well, sorry, and slime. Then we got the ice and the snow. Not as blue as you'd expect, actually. Almost like a tint of blue, but mostly white. The water, the coral, the dead coral. And then we go into the mangrove roots, mud, dirt, you know, all those basic blocks on here. This block here, just like this, the path block as a single, kind of looks like a bird's nest. I don't know if anyone else sees it, but that kind of looks like a bird's nest. Also got rooted dirt there, which looks kind of epic. Over here into the tuff. Tough kind of feeling like a dead block, maybe even covered in webbing. I don't know, but quite nice. I feel like you could make a lot of lore out of this. Into the deep slate, again, more awesome motifs. And if you don't get too close to the block, that pixelization doesn't become too bad. But we're not going to dismiss it. I'm just not going to keep pointing it out. Purple and endstone. Endstone, in fact, getting a purple design. The end, oh, I can't wait to see the end. Okay. That's going to look quite interesting. What's this? Oh, no. Endstone looks like milky cobblestone. Oh, I was hoping endstone was going to look like endstone bricks. Oh, that's a shame. Netherrack, very red and fiery. What's this? Chiseled nether bricks. Okay, some weird design choices on there. Wow, that looks like a demon block right there. It almost looks like it's got scripture written on it. Oh, okay. We've got the resin. And then the quartz there at the back there as well. There are a lot of what could be deemed demon motifs here. Interesting. There's actually a lot of design elements here that I really like. Okay. We've got the prismarine on here as well. There's that little green popping in. I like the color hue changes, you know. I still think it's a bit rough around the edges as we go through andesite, diorite, and granite, and then sand and red sand. I do still think it's a bit rough around the edges, but there is a lot here to like. There's the bricks as well, the multicolored bricks. Just gives that feel of realism. I'm going to say it now. This pack is like 10 times better than their ultra realism pack that they released recently for vibrant visuals. Don't know if anyone else agrees, but I think this is really nice at what they've attempted here. We've then got the chiseled stone bricks and mossy bricks. Again, still a bit rough in places. I'm actually leaning very positive though. Cobblestone, stone. Okay, I really like the darker grey of it as well. Into the mushroom. And then the rest of the flowers. Got the happy gas flying around with some of the other mobs here. Pigs, cows, mushrooms. Can we see the face of the happy? Whoa, that's very alien in design. That's awesome. That is awesome. I appreciate that. Again, we get brought down to earth with the villagers, but I really appreciate little design elements like that. That's nice. Horses. The witch as well, almost looking like the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz. Oh. Okay, I'm not a fan of that. I don't really like that. It feels almost dead. I'm not a fan of that at all. Allays, copper golem's not been updated. The slime. I don't like the slime. The slime feels a little bit too cheap. The sniffers there. We've got the Ravager, which seems quite basic. Oh, the face. Not a fan of the face of the Ravager either there, really. The spiders have a good design. Striders. No faces on the Striders? That's, oh, well, no, there is. It's there. It's hidden in. Okay. And then we've got the armor. So you've got the leather armor, which looks very weird. Copper, not updated. Then you've got... I've forgotten. Hang on. Chainmail. Oh, chainmail isn't chainmail. Okay. Into iron. Gold. Diamond. This is medieval. It feels very demonic. And then Netherite there as well. I'm not the biggest fan of the armor pieces. The wolf armor, horse armor, that diamond horse armor looks cool. Copper not updated. And then we got the armor trims. I will say, massive props. They've updated the armor trims. They're different. Look. They're like little dressing bits. Like little jewelry pieces on there. I respect that. They're not just copy and paste terrible things. That's impressive. Well done. That is very much an impressive thing. Into the weaponry here. Not quite copy and paste. Shovels as well. That copper one really ruining the immersion here. The swords look nice. Slow that down a little bit. In fact, let's go back over here again. Just have another little look at those swords. Yeah, it's not quite copy and paste. That's good. Axes. Also quite good. Pickaxes. Yeah, they're fine. Nothing offensive here. Bows, crossbows, maces, tridents, fishing rods. The shield is quite basic. Elytra's fair enough. I don't like the pumpkin block. Let's put this on. Okay, it's fine inside. It's just looking at the actual block itself is a bit poor. Flint and steel. Throw that away. And then that's what fire looks like. And we've got the end portal with one lit up. The nether portal. And a conduit. So yeah, there is definitely a lot to like here. I probably would have said this leans more towards demonic than medieval though. But again, we're still kind of hit by those really silly errors like textures or items not being the right size, pixelization, and just a bit of weirdness in places that just keeps it from being a great pack, in my opinion. Let's head to the Nether and let's see what's going on there. And so into the Nether we go. Again, we see that very basic title card. I've got night vision potion on, so we need to just be a little bit careful here that we don't make any weird assumptions. So let me just quickly drink this milk, which we can see is not an actual bucket, but a jar. There we go. Okay, that gets rid of some of the weird jankiness. So let's look around. So we've got the eyes. Okay. The eyes are very excessive, not necessarily in a bad way. I can't quite look past the red feathery effect of the netherrack though. Like, part of me really wants to try and sell you on the fact that it's dragon scales, but it's really not, is it? It's a bit too deep red, in my opinion. And then on the top here as well, we've got that kind of crimson nylium design. Okay. If we get down here, we can see, oh, actually on the borderline of a crimson forest and a warped forest. The Nether doesn't quite hit without that vibrant visual feel. In my opinion, there's definitely missing something here now that we've been introduced to vibrant visuals. But I think that doesn't necessarily explain the slightly lackluster feel to it, though, in my opinion. There is definitely something a bit dull, a bit not necessarily dreary, because that would build into the pack. It just feels like there's something not quite hitting perfectly. Lava's quite a nice orange. We've also got the piglins down here who are practically naked. Okie dokie, fair dues. And if we carry on looking through, we've got glowstone, which is quite blue. That's quite gothic in feel. Okay, again though, not necessarily sure medieval. Gothic, demonic, maybe. And if we keep going around, we've got the hoglins, which are always cool to look at. Again, that darker, drearier, dirtier design. You are just standard piglins, right? Yeah, you're not zombified ones. Okay. What else? Let's just keep looking around, see what else pops out at us. More hoglins down there. We've got some weird shaped mushrooms. Like, these mushrooms even look too big. I'm just not sure about it, really. What about look around? We've had no ghasts spawn. We've had no zombified piglins. Very weird, this Nether. And the eyes, like, it just feels a bit dark. And I know I said that looked good in the overworld, but it's missing something here to really give it that epic feel. I don't know. I can't quite explain it. Into the Soul Sand Valley here. So we've got Soul Sand, which is very dark. I'm not necessarily against it. It feels better, maybe because it's got that blue texture background, fog, whatever we're calling it. That kind of helps give it that pop. But I don't like Soul Sand. Or Soul Soil, even. I don't like Soul Soil. We've got a Ghast here, which is just pretty much a flip of the Happy Ghast. But I like the red stuff on it, the same way I like the blue stuff on the Happy Ghast. Kind of gives it that alien feel. Can we go into survival and see if there is an attack animation? Let's pop this off and go here. Hi, guys. Oh, wow. Like 3 rows of teeth. Did you see that? Look. Oh, wow. Fair enough. Okay. There we go. You're not going to kill me, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was quite cool. And hey, look at that. We got a Nether Fortress. Okay, that worked out quite well. Weird random block spawning. Thank you very much. So the Nether Fortress is very red. Very bright red. It's fine. We've got the Wither skeleton here. They haven't... Oh, hello. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like the blaze. No. That feels cheap. I do like the Wither skeleton, though, because it's not just a simple flip of a standard skeleton. It has got this weird tinting on it. And I mean weird in the nicest way. It's like markings are very, very cool. Let's get the Wither out here with the soul sand, shall we? And just see how the Wither looks. 1, 2, and 3. Just let it spawn. I can immediately tell you I don't like the face. That's a shame. Good blue loading into the black and the white. It just feels a bit too basic. A little bit too basic. Something's not quite hitting right in the Nether for me. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking though. Your opinions are always more important than mine and I love reading them. So please do let me know what you're thinking so far. Let's head to the end and let's see what the Ender Dragon looks like. And into the end we go. Yeah, look, it doesn't hit the same. I really wanted to see the purple of the end stone. I really wanted this to be a more purple feeling world. The void is absolutely fine. Really good black void. Not at all uncomfortable. The Enderman, I see what they've gone for. It's not quite hitting how they would want it. It's too pixely, it's too blurry. That could look really nice though, but it's almost too dark, too pixely, and too blurry. That purple's not popping at all. If we pop over here to the obsidian, some of it's too dark. I know I said I liked the darkness at the beginning, but it's starting to actually take away from the quality of some of these things, which is a shame. Bedrock is actually white. Okay, and then we've got the Ender Dragon. Quite difficult to make out what's going up. The skid mark for a belly is a choice. I like the orange wings. We're starting to fall apart a little bit here for me though, unfortunately. I want her to come back down again so we can see her again. Yeah, it's just something about that white scaly thing on the back, the orange, the skid mark. She's not hitting very well for me. These last two sections have really not hit the mark how I would hope, to be honest with you. I'm going to be really looking out for your opinions on these. Let's head to an ancient city and let's see what the Warden looks like. And so we're in an ancient city now, so just to give you that full effect of it in darkness, nothing really jumping out as being majorly changed. So let's now drink the night vision potion. And no, okay, so they've gone for a very vanilla feeling sculk. Not a ton going on here. Obviously, we are helped by the deep slate being this darker grey, which is quite nice. Almost brown in design, but the sculk really is feeling like it's missing the mark in terms of creativity. And it has tried to straddle that line of vanilla and creative. And you can see that here, like you've got the motif on these blocks feeling very creative, and then you've got the sculk feeling very vanilla. So it can be a bit jarring in that aspect. But I guess the only thing left to do now is to see what the Warden looks like. And so the Warden should be about to spawn. I love that I time that so well every time. Here is the Warden. Very vanilla again. Very vanilla again. That's a disappointment. I have to say that is quite disappointing that they've not really tried to change that. But then I suppose when you think of how they tried to change the Ender Dragon, maybe it's best that they didn't mess around with the Warden. So, what am I going to give this texture pack out of 10? I have to say I've got two numbers in my head. The numbers are 6 and the numbers are 7. Now, I know there's a meme there for 6, 7, but we don't need to worry about doing that. But, I don't know, like 6 is average for me. I feel like there isn't a ton that I don't like. So maybe I should let me just lay it out, right? What don't I like about the pack so far? So I obviously don't like the broken scale of some of the textures, like the bundles, like the kelp, for instance. I think that's an amateur mistake that really needs to be fixed. May even lean into the mushrooms and stuff like that as well, which seemed a bit weird. So that's not very good. I don't like some of the faces on some of the mobs, and just in general, some of the overall designs feel a little bit too rough, a little bit too cheap. I don't necessarily like how vanilla it is in certain places, especially when we can see that there are some good creative choices. The Nether and the End both felt like they missed something to make it that extra special. And there was one other thing that I didn't quite like. I felt like in some places, the darkness hindered it instead of making it really good. But what did I like? Oh, and also I didn't like the pixelization. But what did I like? So I liked the creativity choices that they added. I really liked some of the gothic elements. I kind of really liked some of the demonic elements that they've added in as well. I'm never going to get rid of those accusations now. But yeah, like some things look really nice. Some changes, creative decisions are really nice. I was pleasantly surprised by the pack. It didn't really disappoint me or even scare me as much as I thought it would. I really like the price at 830. I think it's definitely not overpriced, and I really like how updated the pack is. I think on this occasion I'm going to say a 7 out of 10. Just slightly above average, but on another occasion I could easily go for a 6 out of 10. It's a tough one, but I'm going to lean on the side of positivity today. And so if we head over to my texture pack review database on my website, dasmanblogs.blogspot.com, we can see that a 7.0 rating actually puts this in company with packs like Askew, Flarefall, there's even Alien Project X. We've also got Consistently Cubed, we've got Excalibur, Inked, and even Jollycraft. So there are some very good packs in this company. And if we have a look at other texture packs that I've reviewed by GoE-Craft, now we won't include the Vibrant Visual pack in this, but we can see that Wolfhound is right up there at the top. There's quite a lot of 7.0 rated texture packs by GoE-Craft in my opinion. Not quite as good as Realism Sci-Fi 128X, but it's up there with the Backrooms, it's up there with Clearcraft and Enchanted Forest, and it's way better than packs like Dragon Legends, Ethereal, and even Perfect Realism X128. And there we have it. Thank you for checking out today's texture pack review. Please drop a comment with your review of the pack. I love to read what you guys are all thinking, and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed this. If you're new here, please do hit that subscribe button today as well and help the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next video.